Slumgullion.
Slumgullion, we've got season 2 of the Slumgullion. Jeff and Scott still host the Slumgullion. I still don't know what that word means.
Hey, I saw this film in junior high school. It's all about the dangers of homosexuality. The boys watched it in the gym while the girls went to the home ec room and saw that menstruation movie sponsored by Kotex.
So this movie is sponsored by homosexuality? Cool.
All the scenes with Astroglide and elbow grease are obvious product placement.
On Sunday, February 8th, a group of homosexuals met for mimosas and lemon ricotta waffles. In a moment, the results of that brunch.
Ah, what a great day for some police brutality. Sure hope they never invent cell phone cameras.
Click it or ticket? Ha! You can stick it.
I'm Lieutenant Williams, a police officer attached to the Juvenile Division. I'm on my way to Monroe Junior High School to talk to a group of young people. That looks innocent enough, doesn't it?
Think I'll pull over for a quick daisy chain.
Seems like a good way to get from one place to another. But sometimes there are dangers involved that never meet the eye. Let's take the case of Jimmy Barnes. Jimmy played baseball all afternoon, and he didn't feel like walking home, so he decided to thumb a ride.
Laziness, the leading cause of homosexuality.
What?
He'd done it 100 times before, and he didn't think anything was unusual when the driver struck up a friendly conversation. In fact, he seemed like a real nice guy. He asked Jimmy if he played baseball in the park often. Jimmy told him they practiced 3 times a week and played a rival group on Friday afternoon.
Jimmy was monopolizing the conversation, and the homosexual began to wonder if any amount of sex was worth listening to this hayseed's tedious life story.
Let's neck, mister.
Oh, no, I've got to go.
When Jimmy got out, the stranger gave him a friendly pat.
That's what my wife gave me on our first date, and on our wedding night, now that I think about it.
Then he told him he'd see him again.
Preferably through a sniper
He
scope.
drove by the park on his way home. Sure enough, the following day, when Jimmy finished playing ball, well, the man was there waiting.
At this point, I'm less concerned about unsafe sex than I am about the fact that nobody buckles up in this movie. If things do progress to a blowjob, it'll turn into that scene from The World According to Garp.
They stopped at a drive-in.
Pastrami? Shrimp? That was like giving somebody diamonds and furs back then. This kid's virginity is doomed.
He had heard others before, and, well, it made him feel big to so easily win the confidence of an older person.
Ah, while Andy and Opie were on one side, fishing and whistling, this is what was happening on the other side of the pond.
Mayberry, after dark.
The following Saturday, they went fishing together. By now, they were using first names. Ralph said it was more friendly.
Jimmy was uncomfortable with this flouting of social convention, accustomed as he was to addressing even his dearest friends as Mr. Lumpy or young Master Beaver.
Jimmy hadn't enjoyed himself so much in a long time. Then during lunch, Ralph showed him some pornographic pictures. Jimmy knew he shouldn't be interested, but, well, he was curious. What Jimmy didn't know was that Ralph was sick.
He had a sick, contagious interest in penises. Doctors called it cockspox.
No less dangerous and contagious, a sickness of the mind. You see, Ralph was a homosexual, a person who demands an intimate relationship with members of their own sex.
Well, Jimmy's packing heat. I think he's going to be okay.
Now, Jimmy felt a fondness for Ralph, and they continued to go places together. Ralph was generous and took Jimmy many interesting places and did many nice things for him.
But then he forced Jimmy to go miniature golfing and ruined everything.
He bought presents, and even gave him money.
Jimmy was actually an experienced, hard-bitten hustler who routinely shook down his tricks for cash.
Jimmy hadn't recognized Ralph's approach soon enough.
Here's what I don't get. I was told in school that homosexuals had quick, anonymous, shameful sex in bus station bathrooms and public parks. But Ralph's treated Jimmy to meals, chauffeured him around town, taken him fishing. This is like their third date, and he hasn't even gotten to first base. I thought the whole point of being a homosexual is that you didn't have to work this hard to get laid.
You know nothing about us.
But all homosexuals are not passive.
Not all homosexuals will wine you and dine you and treat you like a princess whilst they practice the art of courtly love. Some men just want to go spelunking in your bunghole.
Hey.
In the heat of competition,
Sid Davis, the writer-director of this film, made 150 movies, mostly about molestation.
Wow.
Much like Hitchcock, whose recurring themes made him the master of suspense, Sid was the master of molestation. In the book Mental Hygiene, quotes him as saying, "I made a whole series of child molestation films for the 4th, 5th, and 6th grades, then for the 1st and 2nd grades, then for the 3rd and 4th grades, then went into junior high with Boys Beware."
Which is where we came in.
But he didn't go stale or repeat himself. As Sid said, besides just being molested, there's also rapists and such.
Okay. Oh no, Mike's about to get boned by a maitre d'. So what did Sid Davis do before he got into the molestation movie racket?
He was John Wayne's stand-in.
Oh, bullshit.
Apparently he was so good at standing under hot lights with his toes on masking tape that the Duke gave him $1,000 to buy a 60mm camera and go make a movie about child molesters.
when they finished,
Here the stranger symbolically takes possession of Mike's ball.
Got lots of practice. The companionship, the praise, the friendly attitude dispelled any misgivings Mike might have had about going with a stranger. He probably never realized until too late that he was riding in the shadow of death. But sometime that evening, Mike Merrick traded his life for a newspaper headline.
If only Mike had known enough to trade his soul for a newspaper headline, he could have lived to become a Kardashian, and his sex tape with a stranger would be trending on Pornhub as we speak.
Ready for Jerry's afternoon delivery.
I had a paper route for 3 years, and my friends never once helped me fold the papers, deliver the papers, or hook up with a homosexual.
That drew up shortly afterwards, until the man called them over.
The homosexual's milkshake brings all the boys to the car.
Could they recognize him if they saw them again? Well, then he guessed he could. Then hop in, the man said. Those are stolen bikes. Without giving it another thought, Denny got in and the car sped away. Jerry watched. He'd been told many times, if a friend got in a car with a stranger, to write down the license number. It didn't seem to apply, but, well, fortunately, he marked it down.
No, you idiot! That's the paper with the license plate on it! Gah! Now your friend's a homosexual and it's all your fault.
Hey.
When he delivered a paper to Denny's house, he asked his mother if they'd caught the boys that had stolen the bicycles. Denny hadn't returned, so he told her the story and gave her the paper with the license number. Being a careful parent, she decided to call the police. Jerry supplied the necessary information, and the stranger's car was quickly spotted.
Yeah, it seemed like every other episode of Chips was all about Punch and John cock-blocking some chicken hawk's afternoon delight.
Of any stranger who takes a young person off alone, no matter what they tell you.
America's gay men endorse the smooth cruising ride and spacious backseat of the Chevrolet Impala, new for 1961.
Public restrooms can often be a hangout for the homosexual. Bobby and his friends hadn't noticed the man who had been in the restroom when they changed, and as it was late, he suggested they take the shortcut under the pier, but the others preferred to take the more traveled way home.
I think what the film is metaphorically saying here is, there's nothing finer than vagina, ignore the back door.
You know, it'd be a lot easier for me to sneak up on him if he'd lay off that kettle drum.
Well, if he wanted to be inconspicuous, maybe he shouldn't be wearing wingtips and a suit on the beach.
If he's lucky, people just think he's Richard Nixon.
When Bobby recognized the stranger as the man in the restroom, the shortcut under the pier didn't seem like a good idea at all.
What's the matter, Bobby?
Dad, I keep getting cruised on the beach by former Vice President Nixon.
Well, son, he is tan, rested, and ready for
Well,
love.
it's more fun to stay with your
Ew.
friends anyway. Bobby had made a wise
You grossed yourself
decision.
out there.
It may have saved his life.
You know, running old 16mm movies about molestation really makes the commute fly by. Who needs satellite radio?
Depend on making the right one. So no matter where you meet a stranger,
Across a crowded room.
if they try to win
Show
your
off.
confidence too quickly, and if they become overly personal, one never knows when the homosexual is about.
According to the Audubon Field Guide, the homosexual is often seen in late spring. He favors a combination of open fields and forest, mostly deciduous or mixed woods.
Unless you have the permission of your parent.
Well, time to give that lecture about the dangers of homosexuals. Gee, I kind of feel like I shot my wad in the car.
Sid Davis Productions, 48 movies about child molestation in the can, only 102 to go.
We're sorry.
By the way, I'm a homosexual and I approve of these jokes. I'll do one without it, just
Okay.
so you can have it. But I feel like it needs the accent.
Okay.
All right, okay. Let me do one more. Mayberry, After Dark.
You still had the accent on Mayberry. You really can't do it without it.
I did? Okay,
Yeah.
okay, all right. One more time. One more
Okay.
time. All right, God damn it. Mayberry. Nope. Mayberry, After Dark. That didn't even sound sexy. Hold on. Okay, now I know what it's like in a sound booth for a cartoon.
Yep. Yep.
All right.